Welcome to the third installment of building a Revell 1966 Malibu on a $40 budget. In the first installment, I shared how to acquire the most affordable kits, what tools would be needed, and explained some fine print associated with this build. The next installment was all about using Krylon Shortcuts paint, and discovering Wayne paint to see how much was used is very interesting. The Krylon Shortcuts gloss black was applied to the bare kit plastic, and other than some dust from sitting around for a week while it cured, it came out okay. Next, I flocked up the interior with some flocking that is now available at the lobby of Hobby. Let's review what I've spent on this project so far. As you can see, I'm only factoring in the cost of what was actually used on the model, and based on that logic, I've got $16 and change in this build. Many more budget-friendly tips and techniques are ahead. Let's get busy.
All right, back at the bench. We're going to jump right into detail and final assembly. So we have the engine block that was painted with the shortcut red pepper, and it is dry enough to handle. It's been about a week, and I mean, it looks pretty good. Oil pan, you still see a little bit of the same. It's all right. I think it's just going to be just fine for what we're going to do here. So we got that piece. And then, as stated, we did use a little bit of the Tamiya gloss aluminum for the intake manifold and the transmission. Those came out nice. And then I've got a cool chrome bell housing. Didn't have to do nothing but cut that off the sprue. So yes, we are going to use a little bit more stuff in detailing and assembling this. First thing that we're going to use, panel line accent color black. And most modelers are pretty familiar with this, and even some of them have been known just to hose it all over everything, which is okay. I like this stuff. This stuff is cool. It adds depth, and I think I have to consider this a tool because, I mean, at the price that it is and how much you use, it's going to be very difficult to say how much I actually used, the monetary cost on one model, because you're going to use this on all your models. I mean, dozens of models, dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of models before you actually use this up if you maintain it. Keep the lid on, So that's going to get used. I'd shown that I drilled out the plug wires. And so I have this wire. And my friend Tim Brown had a video that this is what he was using. And it's yellow, of course. And it is 30 AUG, 100 feet. And I believe it was a little over $14. And you get it on the jungle site. And this is enough plug wire to wire all of your models and probably the next generation of model that your family is going to build. I mean, it's 100 feet. And when I factor in actually how much I'm going to use, say if I use just 1 foot of it, I think the math says that that's 14 cents for plug wire, and it's quite to scale. And you don't have to do anything. It's on this spool. So we're going to put that into the pile. And then a little bit of detail painting is going to help bring this alive. And so I have some antique gold from Green Stuff World. And I really like this paint. This stuff is really cool. And their website is awesome. They are based out of Spain, I think. Don't worry about getting the stuff from them. It's they ship fast, and it's just awesome stuff. And I think this was a part of a set that I got that was under $20 for 6 colors. And of course, we could throw all 6 colors at it, but we're trying to keep things simple. So we're going to use a little bit of gold. And then I think I need just a little bit of black. That's a gloss black. And some white. We'll see. And these, they have stuff like this at the lobby of Hobby. And again, you're buying it for a model. It's kind of hard. You're not going to use all of this unless you just take the cap off and you're not going to do that. So don't do that. These, if you save them and you keep the caps on, they're going to last you a long time. So that's what we're going to start with. Might need a flat black. It's over there in the supply room, and let's get busy. Some of the chrome parts are just kind of too chromy. And that panel liner stuff works great on the chrome parts. So let's juice these up too. I got some assemblies done, and here's the engine motor, and you know, we put the washes, the panel line wash on all this stuff, and it looks really cool. And I simply assembled it with this. That's all. I mean, it literally went together so easy. It's not very complicated. And I got some touch up to do, but we're gonna kind of move on and do my final touch-ups once it's in the car. But as I said before, I want to use the yellow AUG 30 weight wire, and the kit comes with this little doodad here under my finger, and I think that's supposed to be a magneto, and it is grossly undersized as far as the diameter go. And you know, when you put the wire next to it, you can kind of see it's like it would be kind of hard to drive 8 wires into that thing, and I'm just not going to use that. And why? Because I have vials like this of 3D printed distributors. I often advocate for model builders to get their own 3D printer, because I can print vials. I mean, these are, I think, the 4-cylinder. These are 4-cylinder distributors. These are the V8s. I have 6-cylinder ones. I have ones that you just cram all the wires in. And you can print a sheet of these, and you have distributors basically for life. And so I've painted one black, and the holes are already done, and the wire just boop sticks in. I mean, that's it. And a little dab of super glue, and you stick that in and move on to the next one. It's that easy. And by the time you buy a pre-wired distributor, the good ones are $10 basically, and the not so good ones are $5. And these distributors, once you figure out that you've printed a sheet of them, you know, your printer is going to pay for itself real fast just doing things like this. So it fits nice back there. Now I'm looking forward to gluing some wires in there and then draping them into the holes we drilled, and moving on with this, so let's get busy. Our last one was the coil wire. We'll save that one for last anyway. We're going to let this glue dry for at least 30 minutes because it's pretty aggravating when a wire yanks out when you're in the middle of doing this process. So we'll check back. All right, so here is the engine with the distributor installed, and the plug wires ran to their pre-drilled holes, and that is pretty clean looking. I could have added more detail by putting wire looms and boots on both ends, but for this build, it's a budget build, and this looks good. You know, it's clean. The wires are in pretty, they're ran pretty tight for this type of wire. I like the Detail Master wire the best because I think it lays the best. But these aren't all, octopused out or whatever you want to call it. And here's how I do these things, is these things aren't even glued in because the hole is precision, and that's how much wire is stuck inside the head. Because I drill all the way in, and then I just, boop, stick it in. And I did make some amount of attempt to put them in the correct firing order, which I never do. And I think once you get these cool white headers, yeah, that's gonna look pretty good. I might wash these up just a little bit. We might come up with an easy wash for these. I don't know. We'll jazz these up a little bit. But that's the engine. And even though they're just stuck in, I might put a little dab of super glue on each one of them and stick them in there a little bit tighter, but that's okay for this project. So let's start moving on to more stuff on this car.
This math is a tough one. A 3D printer should be considered a tool and not factored into the cost of this build for just one distributor. But for the sheer amount of parts you could print for future models, it will certainly offset the printer cost if you factor in what you might pay for commercially available aftermarket parts. I believe a printer is a wise investment into your hobby.
So next up, I have these pieces. And those that have built this kit know what these are. These are the side panels that into the firewall in these rather large holes that form the underhood compartment of the flip nose, and painted them with the good old Shortcuts gloss black, and they came out pretty good. I mean, they're not flawless by any means, but they are certainly shiny, and they're, I hope, dry. I've been touching them. They take up, I get fingerprints all over them constantly, so I kind of want to jazz them up a little bit, because this is a big part of the car that when you flip the nose that you see. And I think what I'm gonna do is use everybody's favorite bare metal foil. And so I've got a sheet here of the new improved double exclamation point chrome, and of course it has some marks on it. I always get marks on mine, and it's not a full sheet. It's a fairly new sheet, but I've used maybe about that much of it on other projects so far, and I'm hoping to only use maybe an inch of it. We'll see, because I'm gonna have to do some other foiling on the car, but I wanted to kind of show how much was here, and then we're gonna figure out how much it actually cost per use, because you would use, you're not going to put all of this bare metal foil that costs $10 on one model. And depending on the model, my 57 Chevy, you use a lot of it. And this Chevelle, I'm not going to use that much, but it's something like a tool, but you do consume it. So I think it has to have some kind of value applied to the model. So let's get busy with that.
A new sheet of bare metal foil measures 6 by 11.75 inches and costs $7.75. Plus $8.65 shipping? Ouch! The shipping can be avoided by getting it at a well-stocked hobby shop or possibly from a vendor at a show. Let's do some math. A sheet is 70.5 square inches. At $16.40 a sheet, that comes to 23 cents a square inch. I hope to only use 6 square inches to apply to the front frame rails, which comes to $1.38 worth of foil. Careful measuring shows the 6 square inches is just enough to do these areas, as long as you don't mess up.
All right, so after the foil has been trimmed, this is the little bit of waste pile, and I have 2 side panels that are foiled, and these are a little bit more interesting looking than if I just left them black or painted them silver. I still got to do a little bit more burnishing on them, and but it's pretty cool. One thing I did see though, I think it's on this one, is after I trimmed the foil, the black paint lifted off of the plastic, likely from not using primer and just shooting enamel on bare plastic, but that's about the only place that it peeled up. This little spot here, that was from test fitting it into the firewall. You won't see that. And I guess this is what I'm going to do right here is just take a Sharpie and we're going to just do maybe a little bit of this right there. A little bit right there. And pretend we didn't see that. So one thing I did notice is when you take the engine plate and then put it through the side, I might not have cut those ends, but I did, because you're gonna see the black of the edge of the motor plate, and I think I'm gonna just touch it up with some silver paint. And speaking of some silver paint, I painted the front cover with my favorite Vallejo silver aluminum, and start putting other doodads on this and maybe get that engine installed. Clean up this mess. Get that out of here. Clean desk.
This looks like a good place to take a break. Here's the total cost I have in this build so far. It's hard to apply a direct cost to the distributor and the wires, so I factored in the cost of an OK pre-wired distributor. I also included the cost of the foil, which brings my cost to $22.77. In the next installment, I have this masking disaster to fix, but show some easy, low-cost interior details, and maybe unveil the finished model. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.